Whoa, I'm running short of words right now, but I cannot afford this because I have to speak. Thank you so much for all the love, for all the warmth. Thank you for accepting me. Thank you very much. Well, I always start my talk with a disclaimer, and that disclaimer is that I've never claimed to be a motivational speaker. Yes, I do speak, but I feel more like a storyteller because wherever I go, I share a story with everyone. Well, it is the story of a woman whose perfectly imperfect life made her who and what she is today. It's the story of a woman who, in pursuit of dreams and aspirations, made other people realize that if you think your life is hard and you're giving up because it seems unfair, think again. When you think that way, you are being unfair to yourself. It's the story of a woman who made people realize that sometimes problems are not too big. We are too small because we cannot handle them. It is the story of a woman who, with time, realized that real happiness doesn't lie in success, money, or fame. It lies within. Real happiness lies in gratitude. So, I am here to share the story of that woman. That is my story, the story of gratitude. I love you too. I love you all. I believe in the power of words. Many people speak before they think, but I know the value of words. They can make you, break you, heal your soul, or damage you forever. I always try to use positive words in my life. Wherever I go, they call it adversity. I call it opportunity. They call it weakness. I call it strength. They call me disabled. I call myself differently abled. They see my disability. I see my ability. There are some incidents that happen in your life, and those incidents are so strong that they change your DNA. Those incidents or accidents are so powerful that they break you physically, deform your body, but transform your soul. Those incidents break you, deform you, but mold you into the best version of yourself. The same thing happened to me, and I'm going to share what exactly happened. I was 18 years old when I got married. This is something I'm sharing for the very first time on an international level. I belong to a very conservative Baloch family where good daughters never say no to their parents. My father wanted me to get married, and all I said was, "If that makes you happy, I'll say yes." Of course, it was never a happy marriage. Just about 2 years after getting married, about 9 years ago, I was in a car accident. Somehow, my husband fell asleep, and the car fell into a ditch. He managed to jump out and saved himself. I'm happy for him, but I stayed inside the car and sustained a lot of injuries. The list is a bit long. Don't get scared, I'm perfectly fine now. The radius and ulna of my right arm were fractured, the wrist was fractured, the shoulder bone and collarbone were fractured. My whole rib cage got fractured, and because of the rib cage injury, my lungs and liver were badly injured. I couldn't breathe, I lost urine and bowel control, which is why I have to wear a bag wherever I go. But the injury that changed me and my life completely as a person, and my perception toward living, was the spine injury. 3 vertebrae of my backbone were completely crushed, and I got paralyzed for the rest of my life. This accident took place in a far-flung area in the outskirts of a very small province, Balochistan, where there was no first aid, no hospital, no ambulance. I was in the middle of nowhere in that toppled car. Many people came to rescue me. They gave me CPR, dragged me out of the car, and while they were dragging me out, I got a complete transection of my spinal cord. There was a debate going on. Should we keep her here? She's going to die. Where should we take her? There's no ambulance. There was a 4-wheeler Jeep standing in the corner of the street. They said, "Put her in the back of the Jeep and take her to the hospital, which is 3 hours away." I still remember that bumpy ride. I was all broken, thrown at the back of the Jeep, and rushed to the hospital. That is where I realized that half of my body was fractured, and half was paralyzed. I finally ended up in a hospital where I stayed for 2.5 months. I underwent multiple surgeries. Doctors put a lot of titanium in my arm and back to fix it. That's why people in Pakistan call me the Iron Lady of Pakistan. Sometimes I wonder how easy it is for me to describe all this again. Somebody has rightly said that when you share your story and it doesn't make you cry, that means you have healed. Those 2.5 months in the hospital were dreadful. I won't make up stories just to inspire you. I was at the verge of despair. One day, a doctor came to me and said, "Well, I heard you wanted to be an artist, but you ended up being a housewife. I have bad news for you. You won't be able to paint again because your wrist and arm are so deformed, you won't be able to hold a pen." I stayed quiet. The next day, the doctor came to me and said, "Your spine injury is so bad, you won't be able to walk again." I took a deep breath and said, "It's all right." The third day, the doctor came to me and said, "Because of your spine injury and the fixation in your back, you won't be able to give birth to a child again." That day, I was devastated. I still remember asking my mother, "Why me?" That is where I started questioning my existence. Why am I even alive? What's the point of living? I cannot walk, I cannot paint. Fine. I cannot be a mother. And we have this thing in our heads as women that we are incomplete without having children. I am going to be an incomplete woman for the rest of my life. What's the point? People are scared. They think I will get divorced. What is going to happen to me? Why me? Why am I alive? We all try to chase the tunnel because we see light at the end, which keeps us going. In my situation, there was a tunnel I had to roll on, but there was no light. That is where I realized that words have the power to heal the soul. My mother said to me, "This too shall pass. God has a greater plan for you. I don't know what it is, but He surely has." In all that distress and grief, somehow, those words were so magical that they kept me going. I was trying to put a smile on my face all the time. It was so hard to hide the pain. But all I knew was that if I gave up, my mother and brothers would give up too. I couldn't see them crying with me. What kept me going was one day when I asked my brothers, "I know I have a deformed hand, but I'm tired of looking at these white walls in the hospital and wearing these white scrubs. I want to add more colors to my life. Bring me some colors, bring me a small canvas, I want to paint." The very first painting I made was on my deathbed, where I painted for the first time. It was not just an art piece or my passion. It was my therapy. What an amazing therapy it was. Without uttering a single word, I could paint my heart out. I could share my story. People used to come and say, "What a lovely painting, so much color." Nobody could see the grief in it. Only I could. So that's how I spent 2.5 months in the hospital. Crying, never complaining, but painting. Then I was discharged and went back home. I realized I had developed pressure ulcers on my back and hip bone. I was unable to sit. There were infections in my body, allergies. Doctors wanted me to lie down straight for not 6 months, not 1 year, but 2 years. I was bedridden, confined to one room, looking outside the window, listening to birds chirping, thinking maybe one day I'll go out with my family and enjoy nature. That was the time I realized how lucky people are, but they don't realize it. That was the time I realized that the day I sit, I will share this pain with everyone to make them see how blessed they are. They don't even consider themselves lucky. There are always turning points in life. There was a rebirth day I celebrated after 2 years and 2.5 months, when I was able to sit on a wheelchair. That was the day I had a rebirth. I was a completely different person. I still remember the day I sat on the wheelchair for the first time, knowing I'd never walk again. I saw myself in the mirror and talked to myself. I still remember what I said. "I cannot wait for a miracle to come and make me walk. I cannot sit in the corner of the room crying, cribbing, and begging for mercy. Nobody has time. So I have to accept myself the way I am. The sooner the better." I applied lip color for the first time, then erased it. I cried and said, "What am I doing? A person on a wheelchair shouldn't do this. What will people say?" I cleaned it up, then put it on again. This time, I put it on for myself because I wanted to feel perfect from within. That day, I decided I'm going to live for myself, not to be perfect for someone else. I will take this moment and make it perfect for myself. You know how it all began. That day, I decided I'm going to fight my fears. We all have fears. Fear of the unknown, fear of the known, fear of losing people, fear of losing health, money. We want to excel in careers, become famous, earn money. We are scared all the time. So I wrote down all those fears one by one and decided I'm going to overcome them one at a time. You know what my biggest fear was? Divorce. I couldn't stand this word. I was trying to cling to a person who didn't want me anymore. But the day I decided this was just my fear, I liberated myself by setting him free. I made myself emotionally strong. The day I got the news he was getting married, I sent him a text. I'm so happy for you. I wish you all the best. And he knows I pray for him today. My second biggest fear was that I wouldn't be able to be a mother again. That was devastating for me. But then I realized, there are so many children in the world who just want acceptance. So, instead of crying, I decided to adopt one. And that's what I did. I gave my name to different organizations, orphanages. I didn't mention I was on a wheelchair. I just told them I wanted to adopt a child. 2 years later, I got a call from a small city in Pakistan. They said, "Are you MunibaMazari? There's a baby boy. Would you like to adopt him?" When I said yes, I could literally feel the labor pain. I said, "Yes, I am coming to take him home." When I reached there, the man looked at me from head to toe. In the back of my mind, I thought, oh God, he's going to say, "She's on a wheelchair, she doesn't deserve it." But instead he said, "I know you will be the best mother for this child. You both are lucky to have each other." That day, he was 2 days old. Today, he's 6. Another big fear I had was facing people. I used to hide myself. When I was on bed for 2 years, I kept the door closed, pretended I was sleeping. I couldn't stand the sympathy. They treated me like a patient. When I smiled, they'd ask, "Are you okay?" I was tired of this question. Yesterday, a lady at the airport asked me, "Are you sick?" I said, "Well, besides the spinal cord injury, I'm fine, I guess." Those are really cute questions now, but they didn't feel cute back then. I used to hide myself, thinking, I don't want to see sympathy in their eyes. Today, I'm here speaking to all of you because I've overcome that fear. Thank you. You know what's the most painful thing when you end up in a wheelchair? It's another fear that differently abled people have but never share. I'll share it with you. The lack of acceptance. People think they won't be accepted because, in a world of perfect people, we are imperfect. So, instead of starting an NGO for disability awareness, I decided to appear more in public. I started painting. I've done many exhibitions. I'm Pakistan's first wheelchair-bound artist. I've done modeling campaigns for brands like Tony and Guy. I've done funny barrier-breaking modeling like Clown Town, where I became a clown because clowns have hearts too. I also decided that if I want to make a difference, I won't let people use me for pity campaigns. I joined Pakistan's national TV as an anchor person. I've been doing shows for 3 years. When you accept yourself the way you are, the world recognizes you. It all starts from within. I became the National Goodwill Ambassador for UN Women Pakistan. Now, I speak for women's rights, children's rights, inclusion, diversity, and gender equality. I was featured in BBC's 100 Women 2015. I'm one of Forbes 30 Under 30 for 2016. None of this happened alone. You all have dreams, remember, on the road to success. There is always we, not me. There's always someone behind you, supporting you. Never lose that person. No matter how much I say, I couldn't find a hero, so I became one. I still recognize 3 people who changed my life. Walid Khan. Many know about terrorist attacks in Pakistan. We've lost so many people. In mosques, churches, temples, even schools. There was a terrorist attack in Army Public School, Peshawar. Terrorists entered an exam hall and killed children. Walid Khan, my real-life hero, was the proctor watching over students. They shot him 3 times in the face, 5 times in the body. He fell down. A week after the attack, I was asked to speak at the school. With a heavy heart, I went. We sang national songs. I thought I'd done my part, but it was killing me inside. I saw injured children, some in wheelchairs, wondering, what was our fault? We were just giving exams. Classrooms were empty. Friends were gone. I was told Walid was in the hospital. I was asked to motivate him. When I saw him in a wheelchair, his face deformed, legs and arms fractured, unable to talk, no teeth, I didn't know what to say. While I struggled for words, he said, "Are you MunibaMazari? Boji, let's take a selfie." With that toothless smile, we took a selfie. I still have it. That's when I realized, while I was thinking about his deformities, he was happy. Today, he goes to the same school. When people ask about his scars, he says, "These are my medals. I wear them with pride." He says, "Terrorists wanted me not to study. I will become a doctor, that's my revenge." Another hero is my son, Neil, River Nile. I've learned so much from him. Patience, especially. He knows his mother can't walk, can't play football with him, but he stays calm. Once he brought a football and said, "Mom, let's play." He put the ball at my feet and said, "Kick it." That day I felt disabled. I said, "I can't kick." He looked at me and said, "That's okay, your legs don't work, but your hands do, let's play catch." That day he taught me, when you think your glass is half empty, remember, it's half full. Last but not least, the woman who taught me heroes have no gender. The woman who believed in me even when I was in despair. When everyone left, she stayed. Every time I looked at her, she'd say, "This too shall pass. God has a bigger plan." She never cried in front of me. She said, "There will be haters, naysayers. Then there will be you, proving them wrong." My mother, whatever I am today, I'm nothing without her. Thank you, Mama. I wish you were here. We humans have a problem. We always expect ease from life. We have this fantasy that life should go as planned. If it doesn't, we give up. I never wanted to be in a wheelchair. I had bigger dreams. But I had to pay a heavy price to be where I am today. Life is a test. Tests are never easy. If you expect ease from life and it gives you lemons, make lemonade. Don't blame life. Trials make you stronger. It's okay to be scared, to cry, but giving up should never be an option. People say failure is not an option, but it should be. When you fail, you get up. That's how you grow. Giving up is not an option. Never. We chase perfection. Perfect life, relationships, careers. Nothing is perfect. We are all perfectly imperfect, and that's perfectly okay. We weren't sent here to be perfect. Those who tell you to look perfect are imperfect themselves. I used to be called perfect, fair, tall. Now only perfect eyes can see my perfection. You don't have to look good for people. If your soul is perfect, that's enough. Society has set weird norms for perfection. For men, for women. We think too much about what people say, too little about what we feel. What makes you perfect? Making someone smile. Doing good for others. Feeling someone's pain. Pain connects you like nothing else. That's why I say my pain is a blessing. It lets me work for children, for transgender communities. I work in medical camps in far-flung areas. Kids die because they can't afford treatment. Just because they can't afford to live doesn't mean we let them die. I also work with transgender people. They never judge me. A friend, Beejly Electricity, calls herself Lightning because she's strong. She hugged me and said, "You're just like me." Yes, to people we are imperfect. But these imperfections connect us. So why chase perfection? Every time I'm in public, I smile. People ask, "Don't you get tired of smiling? What's the secret?" I say, "I've stopped worrying about what I've lost. Things and people meant to be with me are here. Sometimes, absence makes you better. Cherish it. It's a blessing. People are so lucky, they don't even realize it. The breath you just took was a blessing. Embrace it. Many dream of living the life you have. Celebrate it. Don't die before your death. We all die, but living the same routine for 75 years isn't life. If you're still wondering why you're here, you haven't lived yet. Work, money, that's not life. Go out. Help those who need you. Be the sponge that absorbs negativity and emits positivity. When you change someone's life, that's when you truly live. We were talking about gratitude. Why I smile all the time. I cry all night when no one sees. I'm human. But I smile all day because if I smile, I can make others smile. That keeps me going. Be grateful for what you have. You'll always have more. If you cry over what you don't have, you'll never have enough. Sometimes, we're so busy thinking about what we lack that we forget our blessings. I'm not saying I'm unlucky, but yes, it's hard. It's hard when I say I can't walk. It's hard when this bag hurts, but I keep going. Never giving up is the way to live. I'll end on this note. Live your life fully. Accept yourself as you are. Be kind to yourself. Only then can you be kind to others. Love yourself. Spread that love. Life will be hard, there will be trials, but they'll make you stronger. Never give up. Real happiness isn't in money, success, or fame. I have it all, but I never wanted it. Real happiness lies in gratitude. So be grateful. Be alive. Live every moment.